act like I'm not here. Hold on. Taylor, make sure we're live. We have no issues this week. It is 7:29. We are starting a little bit early. Make sure everything is working properly. Episode 42. Tony Bolton from Mechman will be in the house tonight. Everybody's waiting for this Mechman Alternator Big Jeff battery giveaway. We're going to be announcing that winner tonight. As you come in, hit that like button. Share this out. Let's bring some people in here tonight. Let's have some fun. We are good everywhere, he says. Good. So I'm going to sit here and bullshit with y'all for a little bit as people start popping in because we started early. And I turned off the notifications. Hold on, guys. I'm having notifications. Notification settings. Do not disturb. There. All right. I think that should work. Okay. Now it's the phone. Well, hold on, guys. My whole life is binging and bonging here. That's what happens when you run a damn business. Hold on. Okay, that should be it. Okay, back to what we're talking about. What's up, everyone? Episode 42. Big Sound by Big Jeff podcast. We're going to have Tony Bolton in here later from Mechman. We're also going to be announcing the Mechman Big Jeff battery giveaway. And I think we also have a excess power super bank we're giving away tonight. What's up, Eric? Chris? Yeah, there you are right there. Excess power. SB 150 925 and a tray we're going to be giving away too along with the podcast. Scar Dad 276. I'm going to guess you like Scar. But what's up, my friend? Eric in the house. Soul Sharper or Shaper. Audio 10 God. Who else we got here? Been wanting to try them. What? The Big Jeff batteries? Well, they've been getting good results. We've had actually no negative reviews at all, so that's a good thing. Okay, we got some people coming in. We'll wait another couple minutes before we kick this thing off. Episode 42 with Mechman tonight. We're going to be talking about return of video of the day videos, announcing the winner tonight. We're going to be talking about some new stuff from Mechman. We're going to be giving away that excess power super bank. So we got a lot going on. Who we got in here? Everybody want to comment your location while we're waiting to kick this off. What's up, Eric? Everybody comment your location. What's up, Mr. Dusty? See you always everywhere. Y'all comment your location. Where y'all from? If you didn't see, I put the golf cart up for sale. Time to pass it on to somebody and do something different. I want to get a 4-seater and gas. I've brought that golf cart to so many events. I've gotten so much out of it. It's still in great condition. Equipment works. Okay, we got Sioux City, Ozark, Alabama, Waterloo, Iowa, Indiana, Bellevue, Florida, Knoxville, Tennessee, Manila, Arkansas. Man, we got people from all over. I even saw somebody in here in Ontario, Canada. What's up, Eric? Thank you for the support. Texas in the house. Eliana, our office manager, is in the house. And then we got, we'll do something different here. We got Taylor, the no hair.
That's me.
Here. We got Ben Jammin.
That's me.
Here. And we're going to be bringing on Tony from Mechman. Port Huron, Michigan. Wisconsin in the house. All right. Check it out. Everybody hit that like button. Share this out. Let's get a bunch of people in here. We're giving away a Mechman alternator and a Big Jeff 22 amp per hour battery. And then we'll be doing our normal giveaway from Excess Power, a super bank tonight. So it's going to be a fun night. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff. Hopefully you all get involved, ask some questions. And I don't know. I think we got enough in here. Ben, let's get this shit started.
We back at it, let's go. Yo, it's the Big Sound Pod, welcome back. We got hell of a cast to keep it action-packed. Big Ben in the box, chilling behind the scenes. Taylor chopped his locks, and now he's Mr. Clean. Big Jeff up next, yeah, he hosts the shows. Got audio legends coming on the set. Wanna score some advice? Swish, nothing but net. and the usual suspects at the chats. We got Deviant for Life stays rapping facts. Hit the website no matter what your budget's. Year, make, and model, we will tell you what fits. And hair tricks, get them for just $1. Cop a Big Jeff shirt and pop your collar. Price is so low that you finna say thanks. Big Jeff even got his own lithium banks. We bout to take off like a convertible drop top. Haters sneaking in, they get hit with that bot shot. Get your shades on and your pinky ring. Then put your grills in and grab your Cuban link. Now you're ready to go, yeah, it's time to begin. You know it's Big Jeff Audio for the win. Team Big Jeff, y'all can start the show. Let's go.
2, 1, go!
He was one of our very first guests. Huge success.
Say it. Say it.
Thanks for not tasing us.
You guys saw that, huh?
The first time was so good, we invited him again.
The cases we use, everything we use is a Nip and Denso based stator, rotor, housing, and whatnot.
Now, what do we do this time? Are you going to play that video again?
Yes!
Ready, set, go.
Let's meet Tony Bolton from Mechman Alternators.
Hey guys, it's Tony here at Mechman Alternators again. Think logically on this.
When you have a doubt, ask Tony. He knows a lot.
If the alternator can be sitting on the floor or in the box and there's no alternator at all on the car will start. It may not run very well, or maybe there's some computer thing that tells it, but it will crank. But if you get in your vehicle after installing our alternator and you turn the key and it doesn't do anything, or it doesn't actually turn over, you did something wrong.
Okay, that's enough. Let's meet the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tony Bolton himself.
So I ain't gonna lie, man. When I first reached out and I said, "Hey, I want to get an alternator in here," I had no clue, or I'll be honest, I didn't think they were gonna sell like they do. And I'll tell you, and mid 2023 to now, I mean, every day we're selling multiple alternators. I think people have finally wised up to know that, especially with lithium price, that spending $500-600 on an alternator makes sense, right? And anytime we're talking to somebody that powers, first thing we ask, how many batteries you have, did you upgrade your alternator? And I think that should be the go-to, because people want more and more power, and we have to create power to make power. So, Tony, I want to jump into something we were talking about off air. Can you bring up the best email you got with this guy with the Optima batteries? Because everybody's gonna laugh their ass off about this.
Yeah, I figured that was pretty epic, and like I said, it'll probably haunt me for a good while before I forget it. But and it's not just a Optima battery thing. It's you can go to the parts stores and whatnot, and regular batteries have this, but they'll have, you'll have a post on the top of the battery, and then right below it, you'll have like one of those GM type screw-in terminals, and they're both positive, but they're two different terminals. So it's for positive and negative. So it's just an uneducated customer, not a dig on him. We all learned at one point. I've certainly shot sparks off a power wire in my life before. But this customer wanted to run the bottom terminals as the 12 volt to power the vehicle and audio system and whatnot. And then he wanted to run the top terminals for 24 volts to operate a winch and like a PTO drive. And it's you get those every now and then. Like you see some comments on, social media groups and whatnot where you have to read it like 4 or 5 times and be like, is that really what I'm reading? Really? Is that really it? And then you're just like,
it's one of the worst things on social media with people passing off stupid information. Or I hate when I scroll down and I see somebody say, "Oh, what's a good sub for my Honda Civic?" And it's like,
round.
Yeah, round, exactly. Like price, size. I mean, give something. But that's what we got to deal with tonight. you and me put together 2 weeks ago a Mechman alternator and a Big Jeff 22 amp per hour battery combo to give away, and Facebook ran with it, which is awesome. And we're gonna be picking that winner tonight. And
Cool.
yeah, for you all, we always give some away on the podcast. We're gonna be giving away from Excess Power. Big shout out to Sean Mayo, a SB 150 925. That's basically a super bank, a super capacitor. So that's used in conjunction with. That's great for anything. Go ahead and comment the word CAP, CAP, and we'll pick a winner later for that. Comment the word CAP for that super bank, and we'll talk about it later. So let's get into a few things. Actually, what was it, last weekend or the weekend before? I was at the Gator Nationals.
I saw that.
Man, there was so many people there, man. It's incredible to be there with that many people at an event.
It's that loud.
Yeah, that loud, and we literally had like 6 employees at the tables, and it was just nonstop. People following, texting, doing what we do and giving stuff out. And then I actually got to do an interview on the track. And then also, which is not out yet, Bruno, who runs like the, I forgot what it's called. It's where they go to people's garages and fix up their car.
Bruno Massel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did.
Garage rescue or something like that.
He's got a bunch of shows he does. Yeah. He did an interview with Camry Cruz, and I got to be a part of that. So I'm waiting for that to come out. So real cool. And I think the biggest thing, everything takes time, Tony. Even selling the alternators, when we first started, it was a couple a week. Now a couple a day. Same thing in that race world. We're starting to get known, and people remember who Big Jeff is, and that's the whole plan. Nothing against the base head world. I love you all. You got me here, but we're trying to branch out to other so-called cliques, right?
Yeah. If you're racing, then you definitely have disposable income. So
right. Not even that. In that world, it is excess power batteries. It is Mechman alternators. It is car audio and stuff. So it's really cool. So let's retouch. Last time you were on, we were talking about a bracket you were making. You guys got that? Can you cue that bracket up? Do we have that loaded? I'll give them a minute to pop it up. No, once you guys bring that back up. Where are we at with that bracket? I heard there was some changes.
Yeah, there's a couple, like the power steering. We removed the complete OEM bracket off the vehicle. So our bracket is, we have to basically triangulate all the bolts and a bunch of geeky, nerdy stuff that really nobody cares about. But I wanted it as rigid as possible. Like you could probably tow the truck with this thing. It's so rigid, stiff, and that's what you want to stop the belt.
Yeah, you don't want any kind of flex or anything, right?
So now it's got, instead of using some recessed bolts that were a little bit difficult, I redid some of the holes in behind the power steering pump, so they're just a lot easier to get to now. So it's really easier for the user to install, and it's not a special bolt anymore. So and I also on the alternator, there's one idler pulley that is the adjuster, and I wanted to have Steve Mead. I tested 3 alternators that have our 1.75-inch pulley, which most other brands they run the 175 as well on their high output stuff.
Right.
But we have a lot of snowplow guys and guys up north and whatnot. They run these dual alternators and triple, scab together kits, but they'll put like 2 or 3 250 amp alternators on there. So with the 250, you get some badass idle output, and you get a bigger pulley so the belt grips it. So what I wanted to do on the bracket is put 2 little index marks on there. If you line that idler pulley up, at the lower setting, that's going to take care of 3 small pulleys. But if you line it up at the top, it's going to take care of the 3 large pulleys. So it kind of gives you that, it gives you a place to start on your adjustment. So it's, the bracket's done, the bracket works. This thing's brutal. I did a video where this thing was maxing out the tensioner. I mean, it's this thing. I hope people see the quality that's built into it, and not just another stamped eBay item that's like here's a bracket that's held on with 3 bolts, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
holds
No.
3 alternators.
This
I
thing
mean,
should last, and that's a lot of tension having all that on there.
oh,
Obviously, big
and
time.
I know because I used one. I bought one to just kind of test alternator. I wanted to be able to run multiple alternators so I can test different regulators, different setups, different voltages. I had a 14-volt battery in it once, running 16 volts, doing all this stuff, just brutal testing these new parts that we get or designs we think work, and most do, but some don't. And this, I mean, this thing was, I, I will just say that, I don't want to talk down on anything because everything has its purpose. For the price, it did the job. It held 3 alternators. That's what it did. Uh,
Um,
but, but man, there was belt dust everywhere. There's marks on everything. I, this thing's been on my truck, and I beat the hell out of this truck. Every day I drive this thing, it sees 5 grand RPMs on an on ramp and loads of cussing people because they're going 12 on the interstate.
right.
So this thing there's no belt dust on this thing whatsoever. I haven't touched it. Like, I posted pictures not too long ago. I was just cleaning up some wiring on it. There's no belt dust. There's none.
Uh, Alternator 2007 Lexus GS. Would that be almost the same thing as like a Toyota alternator?
Yeah, pretty much. Whatever 3-liter,
Right.
3-liter Toyota Lexus.
I want everybody to know we did have a year, make, and model drop down, and we went with a company that supposedly is a company to go with. Very expensive. Did not do what we wanted because I didn't just want a radio application and some door speakers. So hopefully at the end of the month we're going to be launching it, and then people will be able to go in and also we'll show what alternator fits with the vehicle on top of what battery. So I think that's going to be a game changer because we're able to build it out completely, and I think it'll even be bigger than the way Crutchfield is. So that's going to be real cool where you guys, customers, can go there, put a vehicle in, and not just see what radio fits, what speakers fit, but alternator, battery, maybe even speaker boxes. So we're in the testing phase right now, and it might even be something, Tony, that we're going to be able to sell out if people have Shopify Plus stores because that we had built. But I think everybody, if you're building up a system, changing the battery on the hood is your first thing. You never want to add a battery in the back with a shit battery up front. You have that basically a resistance. You'll have it back feeding in, and then right away for that $599 range, get an alternator in there. You can't go wrong, even if it's not a huge system. Anything that's going to pull more than what the factory was intended. My Dodge Ram, that if the voltage isn't regulated, it actually screws with the computer and things act weird and they throw out different codes. So, that's something for everybody to think about. Okay, we've been selling a lot of these lately. Let's talk about the lithium booster harnesses, the P101L, the P101L1, the P101L3, L4, and L5. You guys bring that up real quick, and then Tony, you want to break this down because we've been selling these like every day. What are we looking at?
It's just this isn't anything new. People have used diodes in harnesses forever. It's we're not trying to do that. What we're trying to offer is an explanation and education for those that may not know about this stuff and just want an easy plug and play. If you get different batteries that need a different voltage or higher or 14-volt batteries, that's a lot of the race car guys don't really. I know there's some out there. You always, when you say not many people know about it, then everybody jumps on and hates and, oh my God, everybody knew about this. But
so these just plug into the alternator, and then it changes the amount of voltage it lets out. Am I correct? So they have like a 0.5 volt and a 1 volt and a 2 volt increase.
Drop?
Did I say that right?
Am I?
Are you there?
Yeah, am I back now?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Is that what it is? Is it like half volt, 1 volt, 2 volt increases off the alternator?
Yeah, that's what it does. Like for a 14-volt battery, the biggest thing I get is people say, I have a 14-volt battery. so I just need to charge 14 volt. Because they think the 12 volt alternator for the 12 volt battery, it's just that disconnect they get. So if you get a 14 volt battery, you need to charge that about 16 and a half volts. Realistic. I mean, you can charge it a little bit lower, but if you're going to maximize that setup, you need to be in the 16s for that 14 volt battery. So these little plug and play harnesses are, I mean, literally you take the harness off of the one we ship with it and replace this one, put the ring terminal over the output stud, and yeah, and I apologize if you get 0.9 volt boost instead of 1 volt boost. I'm sorry.
Right.
I can't control the weather. These things are still thermally based. They know the temperature of what's around it. So when it's 20 degrees outside, you're going to get the maximum charge because a battery will accept the charge much easier on a cold day. And if it's 150 degrees, yeah, you're going to drop maybe half a volt or so if you're beating the hell out of this thing. So, it's not a set point. You don't just set the voltage and be like, oh, cool, it's going to be that way forever. Hooray. It doesn't work like that.
Smart Dad, you got to give us a little more information. 2,500 watt amp isn't much. So if you're having huge voltage drops, it could be the battery right now. It could be your alternator. It could be your grounds. There's too many things because 2,500 watts is up there, but it's not anything that should give you huge drops. Definitely my opinion. I think you would need to get a little more information on. I'm going to pull this back up real quick. The last picture I didn't get to.
Yeah.
What is
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go back here. Nope, this one. What is that?
That right there. I was just getting ready to touch base on that. A lot of times you will get, now this is for the GM 2005 up customers that have that 2-pin regulator that the computer controls the voltage up and down and
It's
whatnot.
not internal on the alternator. You still have to have a separate box. You're basically right. Okay.
Well, you have to have, as long as it's the 2-pin alternator, you can use it. And say you do add a 2,000 watt amp to that system. Well, the perception is you're thinking that the voltage is dropping because the amplifier you added, when in reality it's just the vehicle going by the program that GM put in it. So if you get that MMVC1, you can control the voltage pretty much like an external regulator, but without all the finicky crap. And it's awesome because the two pin regulator is not as robust as the traditional 4-pin like we used in the 400s and whatnot, but the 2-pin is still good as long as it's not constantly fluctuating. So if you can set your voltage to 14.8 or whatever, and then let it bounce up and down 2/10, 3/10, whatever, that's perfectly fine right there. And a lot of times, if we can't sell the alternator to that customer, maybe they don't want to go through the hassle with it. They just want to control the voltage.
Right.
And we can get 15 and a half volts out of that. So you can run some CMAX at that. I know a lot of people charge 16 on a CMAX, but batteries have a range of charge. So any of these chemistries, you can kind of dial it into what fits your needs best because there's not just one perfect alternator.
Yeah. This is a great question because I don't really talk about much. What about hybrids? Somebody has a hybrid and they're doing a build in it. Is it still, how does that work? Is it still a regular alternator in those, or how does that work?
It depends on the manufacturer. I honestly haven't dipped into it real hardcore. I would imagine they're great to drive from point A to B and look for a 2000 2004 Chevy Tahoe to buy a base vehicle.
Did you ever see on Facebook there was a picture of a guy who had an alternator mounted to the back of the car and it was attached to the tire running?
Yeah, it's a Prius.
Okay, was it real?
I'm sure it was. I mean, any of these
fast enough.
I mean, yeah, as long as you got the pulley ratio dialed in to like a 3-to-1 or something like that. I mean, an alternator needs about going by the shaft speed of the alternator. You need about 2,000 RPMs of alternator shaft speed. So, if you put, the pulley that was on the wheel, if you put like a 6, 7, 8-inch, pulley on that wheel, and then you put some little 2-inch, 1-inch pulley on the alternator, the sucker will charge. It'll do something.
Right. Scar Dad, yeah, if you got an odd battery, that's your first thing. You can't have good and bad together. They don't work together.
Nope.
It's like having an old battery under the hood and a good battery in the back. The old battery under the hood is going to be resistance. It's going to you're going to have an issue. It's like people that run like the Yingluang cells and you got one bad cell in that. You change up the voltage and also the charging, and most of the time you're blowing things up. So I would definitely recommend Grounds and get it on our website to get yourself a new battery in there for sure. Okay, so I got some notes here. You guys bring up the presentation for the MMVC1 2005 GM Chevy voltage adjuster. Is that the one we were?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Okay, that's what we're talking about there. So 2005 and up, they can basically buy that part, add it in, and then they can adjust or get more voltage out of the factory setup with that.
The factory setup or any 2-pin alternator. And if you don't want to mess with changing an alternator or messing with a belt change or whatever, and you just need a little extra boost, you can get that little box to control it. It comes with a wiring harness that's plug and play. You literally make 2 connections under the hood. You mount the little box inside. Um, it,
And
this bo- the box is not a voltmeter. It's not a volt. All it does is display the duty cycle that you're commanding of the regulator and the frequency. And the frequency is already preset. We set all of this stuff for you. So when you hook this thing up, it's going to be in the low 14s volts, or 14 voltage on the alternator. And then if you bump that up to about 75 or so percent duty cycle, that's going to get your 14.6, 14.7, 14.8. And I think once you get to about 92% or 93, I think that's when it's done. Whenever you hit 15.5 volts, that's all that regulator can do. It can't do anything over that. So as soon as you start going to 95%, 100%, it's just going to default back to like 13.2 or whatever. So it's super safe. You can't blow you can't blow stuff up. So that's kind of why we like it.
We get all the time, and I always say that Big Three. Some people think it's like the next gift to God, but it doesn't. What are your thoughts on a Big Three kit and people using them?
I mean, they're great if you remember to hook up the starter wire so your truck starts. That's happened. But I mean,
anytime you're increasing, this is how I used to explain it, and I've said it on here times before when I owned a retail shop. If you get a Slurpee and use a coffee straw, it's going to go up there, but you're going to have the worst headache in the world trying to suck it up. And then you take a big fat Slurpee straw in a Slurpee and suck it up, you get a brain freeze, right? It's the same thing with wire, everybody. Bigger wire, more copper, more wire allows juice to flow through much easier. Can you do it? I really don't think you can, but the Big Three allows you to get. Most factory has not even a 4-gauge wire from the alternator, and a lot of factories don't even do that big on the ground. So it's very important that you reground the alternator and also go with something larger from the alternator to your main battery, if not going all the way to the back. So that's what the Big Three is to clean up the factory wiring and give you, hopefully you're all using the 0-gauge and not the 4-gauge. And if you're going to do it, don't buy the copper clad to save money. You're doing this to make a better flow. Spend the money for the copper. It's a cheap upgrade. It's a cheap, inexpensive upgrade.
And when you say you can't go overboard on this, I mean you're right, but I think people will sometimes translate that Big Three into 3 0-gauge power wires coming off the alternator, the factory alternator that makes 90 amps or 100 amps. I guarantee you, all you need on a 90 amp alternator is like a 4-gauge wire. That's really all you need. You don't waste your money buying the wire for your 90 amp alternator. Use the money to buy an alternator so you can use one wire from your alternator.
Yeah, and if you're going to go with a 240 or higher, you definitely want to increase the wire. We sell a dual block that goes on the alternator to give you 2 off. Some people go directly to the battery. Some take one to the battery, one to the back. I would still go through the battery.
Absolutely.
That's just my opinion. Let the battery regulate the power 100%. Don't go straight from the alternator to an amplifier.
Correct.
It'll work, but you'll be warranting something.
Yeah.
Alternator is going to peak up and down with the RPM, and there's a lot of other things involved in it. Chris Dahl here says, so AGM under the hood, lithium in the trunk. Okay, keep in mind, if you're putting lithium in the trunk, it is going to sit at a higher resting voltage than your battery. So make sure at least you have an AGM under the hood that does sit higher than your normal lead acid. But the proper way, and it's not saying you have to, but is using a battery isolator. Separate the two, especially when it's sitting. If your lithium, say you got a big jet battery and it's sitting at 13 something, and your AGM under the hood sitting at 12.9 or 13.1, it's going to backfeed to level out. And can it cause problems over time? Yes. I mean, if you're running a lithium charger very often and conditioning your cells, that'll help out. But make sure you have a new AGM under the hood for sure. That's a big problem. People taking a lead acid battery and then putting lithium in the back. It's like you spend all that money on lithium, change out the battery for a few $100. Okay,
Yeah.
if you haven't done it already, make sure you comment the word CAP. We will be giving away a super bank from Excess Power later, and then in a little bit we're going to be announcing the winner of a giveaway. Me and Tony put together with a Big Jeff battery, and they will cough up a alternator, basic silver, one that fits your vehicle. Awesome upgrade. Instantly step it up with the big dogs overnight. What we're going to do is take a quick video break, and we got another video about Mechman. And you know what? I got a question when we come back. Can you break down when we come back so I don't forget where the name Mechman came up? So when we get back with Tony from Mechman, we'll talk about how the name came up, and we'll ask some more questions. We'll take a short video break. Be right back.
What sets Mechman apart from our competition? Our history. Mechman Alternators started out in 1978 in a small shop in Southern California. Since then, Mechman has grown to be one of the forefront high-output alternator manufacturers in the world, providing OEM and aftermarket customers alike. Today, all of our alternators are hand-built and inspected by our staff at our facility in Knoxville, Tennessee. Our craftsmanship. Our proprietary billet aluminum housings allow the fitment of superior 6-phase alternator technology on vehicle applications that originally came with inferior 3-phase technology. Mechman alternators have been used on some of the highest performance industrial and marine applications on the planet. Our enthusiasm. The team at Mechman includes professionals from across the automotive and marine industries, with staff specializing in high-end car audio, road race, drag race, and off-road applications. We use what we sell. Our reliability. All Mechman alternators undergo a 3-stage certified hand inspection prior to being safely boxed with injection foam packaging. Every alternator we sell is also put through a rigorous real-world dyno test procedure to ensure a fully functional unit is delivered to you each and every time. Unlike most of our competitors, we have a full staff of phone technicians on site who are prepared to respond to your phone call or email. And best of all, we keep most of our popular part numbers on the shelf, ready to ship when you need them. And finally, our commitment. Mechman alternators are backed by a 2-year guarantee to secure your peace of mind. Should you have a problem with any Mechman alternator inside the 2-year warranty period, you can send it back to us for repair at no cost. Mechman alternators. When it comes to high output alternators, there is no competition.
So where did the name Mechman come from? I'm sure there's got to be a story to it.
Yeah, it was the person that created Mechman way back in the 70s. Well, probably a little bit before that, before his actual name or whatever. It was his name was Dennis, and he was always messing with things, and they called him the Mechanical Man. So you have Dennis, the Mechanical Man, and then obviously time goes on. Matt sees an opportunity to go in there. He goes under Dennis's wing and teaches him all this stuff that's just like it's just amazing. Like you just find those people every now and then. You'll find them and they just insanely just brilliant on how they think and just the whole process of how they think. And Matt he just ran with it, and here we are today. Who would have thought that, back when we were, putting together Ford G series alternators and all this weird stuff that, I mean, we're doing this now. We're doing these badass billets. We're CNC cutting all this stuff. We're, R&Ding the stuff that goes out there to the public. And I mean, Dennis was the foundation that helped Matt get everything, that piece of the puzzle that just started to blend. And then once it happened, we're designing rotors, stators, and, just everything. It just snowballed after that in such a good way.
I want
And
everybody to know, pretty much like over 90%, 95% of this is built in house. I think you guys send out the powder coat and you have somebody doing some laser engraving, right?
yeah, Steve Mead does the laser engraving.
Yeah.
He does laser on the pulleys. He cuts our dual and triple brackets. He cuts our other little brackets. I mean, the dude is, he's on the West Coast, and we have to ship that stuff out there. But we've just been doing business with him for so long. It is such
But
peace of
everything else,
mind.
you guys are doing everything else in that building you're at right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't do the CNC here, but everything here is in Tennessee. It's Keating machine. Keating's been. I remember back when I was like in my 20s, he had an audio shop around here, and he did his thing with that, and he closed that out whenever, and now he's doing like this dude does like 2,000 horsepower diesel trucks. Like he CNC cuts the turbine wheels and he figures out all that stuff. So, attention to detail, 100,000 RPMs of a turbine wheel spinning, and he doesn't even flinch at our alternators doing about 24, 25. So it's awesome that it's all local here, and we paint them here now. We've actually got a paint booth, and we're going to start doing that here.
I got a note here to bring up. I'm guessing this is something big. SOHC alternator for the Ford modular engine family. Is that something that is popular or very new?
Well, the thing with it is we have a fitment for that on the website. It's a 250 amp alternator. It does about 190, 180, 190 at idle and around 260 or whatever. But after you're done, you're completely done after that. And we don't sell any amperages higher than that. And we always get asked, why? Why don't you, it's an alternator. Why don't you just build it? Well, we can build it, but can you use it? No, because if you look at I have here, if you look at the belt wrap, that's what the factory belt wrap. Look how much is like touching the pulley. I mean, it's nothing. So what we do is we just design it to where it's better. We make a billet housing where you can add pulleys on both sides if you need to get maximum belt wrap out of this thing. So the only problem with this is that those Ford mod motors, they had so many different upper brackets that you can't really just make a one size fits all. So we have all the nuts, bolts, brackets, tabs.
So they can buy the one, and it comes with everything to fit all of them.
Absolutely, and it comes with everything. And some of the parts you might not need, but you will definitely have all the parts you need to install it correctly, which is with a correct upper brace. And also, the ones that get sold, you'll see these bottom feet right here are enclosed. So you get the maximum rigidity. In a factory application, these right here are slotted at the bottom.
Gotcha.
So you don't get and the belt is constantly wanting to pull it down this way. So that's why you need that upper bracket that will go up here. So this thing just hit the website today. So
okay.
I'm hoping that solves everything, and it will be amazing. I would imagine if you do a 200 amp alter or 250 compared to this one, the amount of hit you will feel and the ability to actually put the power to the amplifier will be very noticeable.
Chell, we got to make sure we have that unit up. Make a note for tomorrow.
No, it's already on the list to go up tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And then the
you
other
guys,
thing I want to
you
talk
guys are
about
the
was
first.
housing dummy, because well, everybody knows I have one brand new Dodge Ram that got pancaked by a tree, and I'm still waiting for parts, but I bought another one, and I needed an alternator, and my dumbass fucking could have had one in the warehouse, and I ended up, did I grab the right one here?
That's it.
Yeah. So you got a Cummins motor, Hemi, any of the Rams. There is an alternator for it. I'm a fucking dummy because I end up paying $800 for a factory alternator when I could just pull one out of the warehouse. But actually, I was talking about maybe getting rid of the Yukon too, because I want to do a build in a dually that I can drive too, because it'll support all the weight. And you get that Cummins motor. So the biggest deal on the Cummins though would be the idle speed, correct? Like a diesel motor.
Well, that's what a lot of people think, but you can see on this one, this is the diesel one. You can see the pulley's not the engraved Mechman, but it's a big pulley. But the reason we can get away with using the same size pulley is that usually the crank pulleys on all those diesels, since they do idle low, the crank pulleys are huge. So you've got a big 8.5 inch crank pulley, so it makes the pulley on the alternator seem small. So you can get away with it.
Keep in mind, everybody, hopefully by the end of the month, we're going to have a year, make, and model drop down where you'll also make it easier for you to look what alternator fits. We're in the testing phase of it, which is going to be really cool, and another reason to shop at bigjeffaudio.com. Just like you guys, we're trying to make changes all the time to benefit. One of our biggest gripes we get is the pop-up for the free swag. We're working on that next, where you'll just be able to go to a page and pick out. So we listen to you all, just like Mechman does. People that leave real comments or real advice and not some bullshit troll crap. Companies like us and them take that seriously to make a better experience for the customer. So keep that in mind. And questions sometimes you ask, why don't I just buy the alternator from Mechman? You can. You can pay the same price. You buy it from us. Possibly you enjoy the rewards points we give, or the financing, or you're matching it with other product. You're buying it from us, you're still getting a 2-year warranty. And if we have it in stock, it ships right away. If not, it'll be the same thing. If they didn't have it in stock, they're going to build it and ship it out in usually 10 days or so. Right now, obviously, it's really busy for everybody. It's tax season, so there might be a little delay. For the most part, your alternator upgrade is, where I push everybody to, and that was never my original answer. Now it is, because it's like it just benefits all the way around, no matter what you're doing. Listen, we're going to be giving away a Mechman alternator and a Big Jeff battery here in a little bit. I want to take some questions. If you have some, there you go. Mechman will be giving you an alternator, and we'll be shipping you a Big Jeff battery, which has been selling very good. Very happy people. Let's see if we got some questions back here. Big shout out to Deviant also. He actually does our music and all that, and I reached out to him, hey, we got to get some things changed, and he did that right away. So thank you, my brother. I got your email. I was actually going to send you an email, and I've even offered the guy if he wanted some equipment or something, and I'll tell you what, he doesn't ask for $1 and hasn't asked me for anything, and if he did, I wouldn't even hesitate, because followers like that are just straight up do it out of heart, it's hard to find. And I got other guys like that. Robin Williams, another follower that goes to shows, takes Big Jeff swag, gives it out, when he's doing his demos and things like that. So I appreciate all the people that actually care and follow for the right reasons. Okay, let's go through and see if we got any. Here we go. What's this here? Is it best to add an alternator or replace it? Oh, good question. Well, if you're dealing with a factory, you need to replace that. When would you say they really need to figure out a dual amp application? I know it produces anywhere from 240 to 340, but what's your recommendation? When do they need to look into actually going with a second alternator?
Is it best? If you have the only time I recommend just adding an alternator is if you want more amperage output at idle, or say you have a leased vehicle, like a you know, a lot of these Cadillacs that come out, expensive vehicles. If you don't want to mess with any of the factory stuff, you can just add a standalone alternator and run your complete audio system off one alternator, and have a battery that have a 14-volt battery,
Right.
and charge that sucker at 16 volts. Put 16 volts through some, you know, some amplifiers that can obviously take 16 whatever volts, and you can have, I mean, a badass system that's standalone, so you
Hey,
don't have to worry about anything.
this is a great question. The first time I were hearing it, he says, if I buy an alternator for like a car or something, and then the car happens, does that void the car's warranty? It's a great question.
Well, what you can refer to, we have some fleet contracts that we deal a lot with this. If the alternator, if you want to educate yourself on how it all works, I found this out way back in like 1998 or so, when I was, you know, a punk kid messing with cars and whatnot. It's called the magnet.
You have Chat GPT back then. You couldn't ask that.
Yeah, I went to the physical internet, the encyclopedia.
Right. The
But
books, the actual books.
it's called the Magnuson-Moss Act. And what the Magnuson-Moss Act is, it basically, it's a huge, you know, mumbo jumbo jargon and whatnot. But the quick cliff notes of it are, a dealership or an industry or corporation cannot deny a warranty if the non-factory part was not the cause of the problem. So, say you put an alternator on your car, and you know, the power seat stops working.
Had nothing to do with the alternator, right?
That has nothing to do with the alternator. So if they try to do, oh, well, it's the alternator. Well, the alternator only puts out what is being demanded of it. So you can't like, I had for what it was, I think it was like a 96 or 97 Acura Integra, and I had a supercharger on it, and, you know, something happened to it, like I think it was the wheel bearing or something like that, and like in the back, you know, the wheel that's not being powered by the supercharger, and it was under warranty, and they were like, oh, you know, we can't honor the warranty because, you know, you put a supercharger on your Honda. I'm like, well, what does that have anything to do with a rear wheel bearing? I said, it's back there just rolling. That's its job, is to roll. And you know, I'm punk kid. You know, I'm not one to pay for it. Obviously, I don't have a lot of money, or at least not to spend on that crap. And you know, back, like you said, I just put my head in a book and I started learning and figuring out how to not get effed over.
Like a lucky law type, with something to protect the consumer. This is a great question here, Tony. I don't mean to cut you off, but will you guys build an alternator that's not on the website? Have you ever done that before?
99%. We have done it before, but it is getting less and less and less.
I'm sure it's got to be pretty expensive to manufacture
well,
scratch.
Yeah, and some of the brands that some of these makes, like Toyota or Subaru comes to mind, or Mitsubishi. Some of those don't have Denso capable parts, so it doesn't make sense for us to get the old housing or the factory housing. And what you do is, I know others do this, other brands do it. If they have luck with it, that's great. But my God, that's a lot of labor, and you're really weak. Whenever you take material away from that case, you really start weakening that case. So when you weaken it, you get flex, and it's honestly, it's just one of those things. When I get a Subaru customer or something or a Nissan customer, I send them right to you and say, just get a couple Big Jeff batteries on your factory alternator and just let it eat. You know, it is what it is.
As long as you're not just sitting there running with the car not running, AC on, the lights on, you're going to get good if you have enough reserve time. And
sure,
your alternator will charge it up. We always recommend everybody buys like an LI 1208 lithium battery charger. It's like $80, and then run that even when you go home to park, plug it in or off, and get the batteries charged back up. So you can still get away with, if you can't get an alternator, enough what they call reserve power, which is having enough there to last for the period of time and then making sure you charge it. That's what the guys do when they go off-road now. They don't have alternators on your side-by-side, so they build up enough reserve power to make it for their trip. And then when they go home, they got to recharge it, and that's just the way you deal with it. But these are all great questions. I saw one in here. A guy says he was new, loves the show. Yeah, I mean, one thing you're going to find out about this show and also our group, Let's Talk Car Audio, is I don't care who you buy from, what you get from here or there, what you wear. If you're a follower and you bought some from us and a customer, it's all good. That's one thing about us. We don't discriminate. I got some people that are close that haven't even bought anything. This is called Big Sound by Big Jeff. We've had DJs on that I sponsor. We've had on other YouTubers. We've had owners of companies on. We've had tech, sales reps, all different people. And what we try to do is bring a show to everyone that you don't normally get to talk to these people or ask these questions, especially live. And that's what this podcast was about and is about. Not a couple guys standing around talking about nothing. We want to talk about something and then get everybody engaged. So, and then always, my way of giving back is always try to give away product to people, and we do that constantly. Let's go ahead and do this. My guys are going to pick out the winner for that excess power capacitor. And then when they put it up, we'll let you announce the winner. This is a super bank. Different than a battery, everybody. Super bank is basically a capacitor bank. It's made to charge and discharge very quickly. It would start a car, but then it would be dead after that. It's just made to put out a ton of power in milliseconds, and is made to be added in with a battery, so when the base hits or large amperage pulls, this will supply it and then recharge very quickly. The old school way was when you bought a 1 farad or 5 farad cap this big, and it really was only that small. This is like hundreds of those in there. It actually does something. This has a mounting tray, so you can pop it in, very easy to use. Make sure you charge it right. They normally come with a light bulb that you put between the power and the positive, and it charges through the light bulb, so it charges slowly. Otherwise, it can snap and you can have a meltdown. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and pick a winner for that out. You guys pick a winner from the comments, and let's pop that up. JD Dillabello. Congratulations. You are the winner tonight for the Excess Power Super Bank. Give us a call, 737 Big Jeff, and we'll definitely get you hooked up. Okay, cool night. Man, I'm blown away, honestly, Tony, the amount of alternators we've been selling every day.
Me too. If I can stop real quick, is there a way? Is there a way you can turn off the how did this customer service help you emails, automated emails to me? Because I keep getting them every time you place an order.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. That I need to look into, honestly. But
I mean,
would you rather
just a general setup?
Not put the orders in? I mean, or deal with some extra emails, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. It's just like you place a lot of orders, so they keep coming up, and I can only give the guy so many stars.
Right. You know, we've been constantly improving our technology here with customer service, our shipping now. We're doing scanning. I put so much money into technology to, one, streamline things, be better for the customer. And part of that is also knowing what we do and do wrong. I'll give you a perfect example. I found a negative review on Google, and a guy basically bought a Yinglong bank, and his balancer he thinks is bad. My customer service team spoke to him multiple times, told him to go fill out a return request, send him a link. The guy never filled it out and then got mad. Like we were supposed to like do something for him. And then you leave a negative review instead of just calling and saying, I still don't understand what I need to do, even though we've talked to this guy multiple times. With the programs we use, we try to get feedback where the customer service agent doesn't even know about it. And if there is negative feedback, we try to fix it there. Some people just feel like they got to go straight to Google when it's not even a Google thing. But we try to constantly make changes, and when we do screw ups, we fix them, and we try not to do them in the future. So that's a big thing to us. And a guy coming out of a single car garage about 5.5 years ago to 2 buildings and 30 employees, This wasn't because mommy and daddy money or an investor money. This was from grinding and trying to take care of people, even though I read constantly stupid shit about what people have to say. At the end of the day, we're here busting out orders and growing with brands like Mechman, which is big. Okay, we're getting close to that time, and I know everybody's excited because so many people would love to have a battery and an alternator. I'm excited. It's nice to do a co-op with somebody and be a part of it and see it really get spread all over the internet, which is great for Big Jeff Audio and also Mechman. Everyone knows I'm not into building my own brand. I just want to make a couple key products that I thought would be good. And obviously, Mechman is the brand of alternators, and what's better to mix the two together. So we actually got something new. We're not just going to throw a name up there. Ben, let's spin that wheel. Okay, everybody, give us some props on that one. Big shout out to Ben Jammin for putting that together. We're going to be doing our announcements when we're doing these giveaways like that, spinning the wheel, putting all the names in there, because on this particular one, we gave people a chance to share it on their page and then also in a group. And then we're going to be doing where people can actually text us with a word and they'll get an entry that way, and then we'll spin them and win. Big shout out. I know everybody wants to win. Understand, there's thousands of you, thousands, and there's one winner. But we're constantly giving stuff away. Right now, we're still running. American Base sent me a 40 amp, basically a LTO setup that they have, and it came cracked on the side. Doesn't injure how it works or anything, just the plexi. I said, what are we going to do? Let's give it away. So that's running also. But big shout out to the winner there. Big shout out to Mechman for being a part of it. We actually have a good amount of people in here, which is awesome. Man, Ben, play that one more time, man. I love this new way to announce it. Play that one more time, man. Let me know what you all get tonight, because you don't just get the platform of Big Jeff Audio, you also get the platform of Mechman that you can call in and get one-on-one answers and advice. Now, yes, sometimes you got to call and leave a voicemail. They're busy people, but they will help you out, all right? And then the 2-year warranty, or email them, which is even better. But a 2-year warranty, and they're saying that in 2 years, you send it in, they're going to repair it. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. And if you want to take it that far, we also sell extended warranties that are accidental coverage, which means if somehow you're in an accident and that alternator got broken, that extended warranty we sell from CPS would cover that, and they would repair and replace it. And I'm trying to get more and more people to understand that it's not just an extended warranty, but also accidental coverage, which means on the radio, if somebody punched it and broke the screen, Tony, they would cover that also because it would be considered an accident. So keep that in mind. Listen, we had a great time tonight. We had a ton of people in here. Thank you so much. This is episode 42. Tony's been on a few times with us. We're real close. I love partnering up with companies like this because this is also a big reason why Big Jeff Audio is where it is, with partnering up with companies like this. And he'll tell you, my team stays in contact almost every day asking questions because we get those answers for you and just don't tell you, contact the manufacturer. There's not people working on it that know how to install. They have product knowledge. And then when they need to get other answers, they go straight to the manufacturers like Mechman to find that out. I see a lot of new names in here. Thank you for showing up at the Big Sound by Big Jeff podcast. Next week, Tuesday, who do we have on, guys? Let me pull on my crew real quick. Oh, we got DS18. Mr. DS18 will be on next week, Tuesday. We're going to be announcing the American Base battery, Friday night at 10 p.m. We're going to run it live on YouTube and Facebook. And then obviously we'll get another giveaway going next week. Tony, thank you so much for coming back on. I know you worked the whole day and you're doing it. But, this is what the type of service that, a company like Mechman gives to be a part of shows like this and we see you more and more at shows, and we see more and more people following you all. I mean, your Facebook has a good amount of followers. I mean, that's a huge thing when you compare it to these other alternator companies, and nothing wrong with them. But what Mechman's going to give is some personal one-on-one. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I was about to say, when I came, like I said, I've known Matt forever, pretty much. You know, we've just known everybody. I've known him for a while, and whenever I first came on here 3 or 4 years ago, I mean, the media accounts were just. I wasn't a social media person. I'm just I'm just upfront. I speak facts. I'm not trying to sell you. This alternator right here is basically proof that we don't just sell an alternator to be selling an alternator. If an alternator doesn't work in a vehicle, we don't want our name on it unless it works 100% right. So,
and I'm back up. We've not had one return in all of the probably close to 1,000 or more alternators we've sold since we've been with Mechman. Not one return, not one bad out of the box, not one even damaged because they even take the extra with the phone to package it for us to ship it. And those are all huge things for me and the customers out there. Big shout out to Benjamin here and Taylor No Hair. Without them, I couldn't put this together each week. You gotta understand we have a very full, crazy life here at the office. As you see, I'm still in the office and not even able to make it home for this. But without these guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. And we've done 42 episodes and only took off 1 week. We've even been gone all week and at a show and came right back the day after and put on a podcast. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you, everyone, tonight. I always keep it 8:30, so y'all don't have to get
Hey, Jeff.
Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
One last thing. Just want to let you know that your two guys here, they're going to come up here and work for Mechman, so you're going to have 2 spots to fill. So.
Sorry, Tony, you're cutting out. I can't. Tony, where'd you go?
You guys do an awesome job. I just want to tell you that because, like I was telling these guys before, that I'm not really into what you're doing, but I've been forced into that area to kind of learn that and see what all goes on. Guys, you're doing whatever you're doing it right, or you are the greatest magicians I've ever seen. So,
you're blowing your head up way too big right now. But
I'm sorry. Like I said,
putting the videos
I dealt with it
together. These guys definitely have, and we've stepped up the game from the first episode to now, definitely. And we, even with the software, the restream over StreamYard, and we're going to continue to do that. And hopefully we
look at it. They don't even look like they're sweating. I mean, it's just like they're flipping through channels, watching TV.
Everyone, thank you for showing up to episode 42, Big Sound by Big Jeff podcast with Tony from Mechman. Congratulations to the winner. This Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, YouTube and Facebook will be announcing live the winner for the American-based battery, and then we'll be starting another giveaway for next week for the podcast with Mr. DS18. I'm out. You all have a great night, and you know what? Get yourself an alternator and a Big Jeff battery, and then have some fun with it. Ben, take us out.
A show in the bag, yeah, that's a wrap. Big Sound is the best, and it ain't no cap. Hit the website if you need that merch. It's Big Jeff Audio and hit the search. I know you had fun, yeah, you gotta admit it. That boy Big Jeff took his thing and he did it. Always a win, yeah, never a L. Did you smash the like, subscribe, and hit the bell? Share it on your socials, put it on blast. We'll be back next week with another podcast. Big Sound in the house, like no other. Deviant and Big Jeff, the Basshead Brothers.